Xbox. I hesitated making this video. Not because I'm scared of the community or anything. It's because sometimes your boy just mentally exhausted. And there be scenarios where I'm just like, do I really want to smoke? And I'm going to be honest, this time I didn't. But I'm going to do it anyway. What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here, coming at you another video. Hope you guys like my fit. You know, we got this thing. I don't know what you would call this. Put in the comment section below. I'm sure there's a specific name for this. Snuggles, maybe? I don't know. But essentially what's going on here is, for the longest time, there has been a handheld. And you know, handhelds have been very big here recently with like the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, obviously the Switch. You know, Nintendo's kind of been upfront with the whole handheld for the longest time. So when it comes down to it, we was talking, you know, Microsoft, they're getting into it. There's a lot of rumors saying that Microsoft was getting into the handheld market and they were jumping in it head first. So I'm, you know, okay. Obviously, like I said, the Switch was being extremely successful. You had a variety of things being successful when it come into the handheld market. So it would make sense that like PlayStation, Xbox, all these companies, that they're going to be looking at a handheld market a little bit more in the future. So that was rumored to be either announced this year or announced next year and come out next year. Because right now we have a ROG Ally one. It's like a partnership. It's like really integrated, but it's not necessarily, you know, going forward. It's not showing like that. You know, it's one of those things where Microsoft and Xbox is hand in hand with it, but it's not necessarily something that they're gonna, you know, brand their own. So then fast forward to it. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's been on since then. Since they bought ABK, Microsoft's been very big on, you know, they're the most profitable they've ever been. They're making the most money they've ever been. All these games are selling really good, regardless what platform. So people, all hands on deck. Everything's good. And to the point, you know, before we get into Microsoft and, you know, hardware in general, I myself was a little nervous when it comes to the Xbox Series S and whatever this handheld is going to be. Because here's my thing. My goal is I want to keep the hardware around. Now, it's like I've said, been very vocal in the fact that it's like, you know, we can keep the hardware. If they're willing to keep the hardware and offset the cost in other divisions, 100% cool with that. But my thing is, I'm going to trust corporations to do what corporations do best, which is to cut costs, cut corners, make money. Now, going into the Xbox Series S, we've seen that there has been a lot of hiccups. Not all, but there has been a lot of hiccups when it comes to the Xbox Series S. And I was kind of curious on like what their generation going forward is going to be. Is the Xbox Series S going to be something that, you know, they really capitalize on and push forward, or is it just going to be something that they push down the way? And I was a little concerned that they would continue with the Xbox Series S, but it's going to be this handheld. And one thing I didn't want is I want it to be like the Steam Deck. And for those of you that have not played a Steam Deck has like a Steam Deck verified category in Steam where it's games that literally work on Steam just fine. And so that's what I wanted if they did their own handheld. I would want them to, you know, green light some of the games. Some of the games aren't green light. Some of the games just don't work at all. I never wanted a mandate for the handheld like they had at Xbox Series S. And part of me was a little nervous that was the direction they're going, that they were going to start talking to these developers and like really pushing that these games run on the handheld just like they run on whatever hardware that is currently with that as well. So I was like really nervous on that. That was one of the biggest concerns I had for the handheld. Now, obviously, we don't know if that's the way things were going to go, but that was one of the things that I was generally myself worried about. So then fast forward, you know, these rumors have been going on for a while. We've seen a variety of people leak it. We've actually seen some of the concept art for the device itself get leaked. So this thing was definitely real. But now we got a article over there by Jez Corden. We're gonna pop over here. Xbox's first party handheld has been sidelined for now as Microsoft doubles down on Kena and Windows 11 gaming PC optimization. So first off, Jez Corden is a well-known insider. He gets a lot of this information right. Is he 100% right? No. No one's 100% right, but he does get a lot more right than he gets wrong. Xbox handheld ambitions continued, but the focus is shifting towards improving Windows 11 for third-party handhelds for now. The Windows Series X successor is totally safe with the development continuing at full pace. I come to you today with some fresh news about the Xbox handheld plans. Previously, I reported that Microsoft was working on a native Xbox handheld alongside the Xbox Series X successor, planned to launch around 2027. It now seems that Microsoft prioritizes have shifted somewhat. So, we'll pop up. We'll talk about that a little bit. That's one of the reasons I was concerned because, it seemed like they were replacing the Xbox Series S with whatever that handheld was. And I was extremely concerned that that was going to be the push going forward, that we're going to mandate both of them just like they currently do now. So let's go ahead and keep reading here. Just to emphasize here, it's not Xbox Asus device Canon that is being pushed back. It's Microsoft's own internal handheld that has been shelved for now. I have a variety of codenames for this unseen device, but it's unclear as the writing as which exactly is the correct one. At the moment, it seems that there are 3 prototype devices in development. Microsoft Gen 10 effort, with the handheld being parked for now. Indeed, Microsoft wants to build its own Xbox handheld in the future, and Microsoft decided to prioritize its teams to improve a Windows 11 performance, gaming performance, specifically for devices like the ROG Ally and Project Keenan. It's possible that external threats from OS, which paper delivers better gaming performances on Windows 11 itself, has informed these decisions. Our sources indicated to tell us that Microsoft is still deeply investing into developing its own gaming handheld technology in the future, but it's announced internally today, and the priorities are moving more deeply towards third-party OEM handhelds in the future. Project Canon is the code name of Microsoft partner Xbox handheld with Asus. So like I said, Microsoft is working with Asus right now on a different type of handheld that is closely working with Xbox, and I think that's what you're seeing here. That's not been canceled. That's probably going to get shown this year in June. Well, we're almost in June at this point. You're probably watching in June. But this year, we're going to be seeing that probably at their June showcase. So there's a significant boost effort between the Xbox and Windows team to improve experience on the software side. Devices like the ROG Ally and the Legion go already run on regular Windows 11, and the Xbox layers and apps have gotten better. But there's still a lot of improvement that could be made. It was always a bit unclear if Microsoft's handheld was designed to be a native Windows 11 PC gaming style handheld, or more of a native Xbox console style experience, but we potentially now have that answer. It seemed to be indeed meant to be the device was to run full Xbox games despite being a Windows 11 device, but Microsoft has already prioritized its team on partner opportunity with the devices. At least for now, I have told that Microsoft still has big ambitions and is heavily investing into deliver a native Xbox handheld, but the shift is more prioritizing and allocating resources right now, and there have been no layoffs or anything like that as a result of the reprioritization. Look, the biggest thing I will say is at this point, I do think, Microsoft should focus on the Windows Store, especially. There to this day there are games that I cannot get to load on the Windows Store, and there was no fix. Especially some games there's like 2 or 3 games that was on Game Pass's Windows Store, and I guess there was some bad connection between Game Pass app and the Windows Store, and I was not able to play those games on PC Game Pass. I had to get them on like another platform or Steam or Epic Game Store because it was not available on Game Pass, and it did not matter what I did. Microsoft and Xbox have been feeding me a dream that they're going to work on this window experience, and I do feel they have came above and beyond since the initial launch. But they went through multiple apps. It used to be you had two apps. You had like a social part of the apps of Xbox, and you had the Xbox Game Pass app. Now they've kind of like merged it all into one, but I have a hard time finding like, you know, clips and stuff in there. It's just chaotic. There's a lot of stuff that I just get so frustrated with the Xbox because I feel like they sit here and tell you something like they're working on the Windows Store, but I'm having some of the same issues on the Windows Store that I've had since day one. You know, and you got to look at, you know, look, do I think that this is going to result in like not having hardware going forward? No, I think we're still going to have hardware, but I don't blame people for looking at something like this. And it's like Microsoft, Xbox, you are making the most money you've ever made, and you are going to cancel a handheld that God knows how much money you spent on it. We have no clue on that relevancy, but it's just like, why do you think we should really trust anything when it comes to hardware with you? Because you have been openly canceling stuff like this. You know, hopefully they'll get the Windows Store propped up where it is. It does look like they are going to focus more on the Windows Store here going forward, and I love that. Let's get the Windows Store. What I want is I want an Xbox emulated Windows app that I click a button, I click the Xbox app on my Windows, and it literally just boots the Xbox app, the Xbox UI on the Xbox. That's what I want. That plays all the games that you want to. That, in my opinion, is the best case scenario. Just in case anything happens to the hardware for me, at least that is an option where, you know, I can play on something that, first off, I have mad issues when it comes to cheating and stuff on PC. You know, maybe it's not as bad here recently, but, you know, back when I was trying to do the PC thing, I remember playing Destiny 2, and it was atrocious. It was atrocious, man. Just cheats. Look, obviously cheating is done on console too. No one's going to claim it's not, but I think it's a lot more, you know, of a problem on PC. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm very curious your guys' opinion. You know, do you think that Xbox even needed a handheld? I know a lot of people didn't think that. I'm not going to tell someone, you know, they're not entitled to have a handheld. I, myself, not a big handheld person, but I can understand there's a huge market for that. Maybe not to the console market area, but there is a lot of people that like to play games on the go. And if they didn't feel like this is going to meet the need, then it is what it is. But anyway, put in the comment section below what you guys feel about that. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace. Whew, man, I'm streaming literally right after this. I'm streaming that the Elden Ring multiplayer thing on the Addict Arena channel on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoy. Peace.